it that it's not damaged. You don't see missing bolts. It's securely mounted. It is also belt driven by the same belt as the alternator, which you have already gone over. Then you talk about hoses. The water pump also has there's no leaks coming from it, and the hoses underneath it are securely mounted right there.
This here. Okay, so alternator water pump.
Yep.
Okay.
And you see no leaks coming from it. The hoses are securely attached. There's no bulges or cracks or tears, and you can hear nor see any leaks.
Okay.
And you come over to
So I can't just talk about everything on one side. I need to be walking back and forth.
No, you need to talk about passenger side, anything that's over there relevant to that side.
Okay.
Then when you come to the driver's side, well, there's your coolant reservoir.
Okay.
Isn't it? Let's see. Yeah, that's the coolant reservoir.
Okay.
So your coolant reservoir, it's not broken or cracked or damaged in any way. It's securely mounted. Additionally, the fluid is at an operational range. Operational range is supposed to be at or below full, but above at, and so you're good. Additionally, the hoses coming to it are securely attached. You see no bulges or tears or leaks in them, and no fluids leaking out. Then you would talk about the oil, how you would check the oil. Oil caps right there. You're going to tell them the process. You're going to pull it out, wipe it clean, reinsert it, pull it back out, and it needs to be at an operational range. Then replace the dipstick.
Okay.
You're going to talk about the water pump, and the water pump.
We didn't talk about that over there?
Oh yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm thinking power steering pump.
AC compressor?
The power steering pump.
Oh.
Yeah. You're going to talk about the power steering pump, that it's not damaged, it's securely mounted, you see no missing bolts or anything like that, that it is gear driven.
Where is the AC compressor?
That's the big thing.
Because I talked about the cooling reservoir, alternator, water pump, the power steering reservoir, and then I talked about the AC compressor because that's what the guy talked about in the video. So those are like the things that I memorized.
The thing is, you can talk about the water or the AC, but it wasn't something we had to go over.
Okay.
Big thing is about what the actual DOT book says.
Okay.
I don't remember seeing. I never mentioned anything about the AC.
Okay.
At all.
Okay.
We're talking about the Robert from
Yeah.
Colorado guy. I don't remember him saying the AC.
He did.
Did he?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It was like the
that was Colorado too.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
He also doesn't mention the power steering pump, and I got dinged for missing it the first time.
Power steering pump. Okay.
Yeah.
Noted.
So
okay.
the power steering pump, we talked about it.
Okay.
You know, then the power steering reservoir, same thing. That it's securely mounted. There's no leaks. The fluid level. So you've talked about your reservoir level, your oil level, and your power steering level.
Okay.
We've talked about the hoses. I even add in the wiring. Make sure there's no rips or tears or frays. You don't see any loose wires. There's no taped up wires.
Okay.
Whether you need it or not, you've mentioned it.
This is actually taped.
Yeah.
Oh,
Point it out.
God. And what is this?
It's a mess.
So when I bring that up, what should I say? Like,
Just say
report to maintenance?
Just report it, yeah.
Okay.
Report it to maintenance.
Okay.
Even though maintenance is the one that did it. I would imagine. I don't know.
Okay, right.
I'm not.
Maintenance.
I'm not
It
calling.
looked
out,
like a kid did that.
Yeah, I'm not calling out Dickinson for it and saying they did. I have no idea.
Okay.
That could have been somebody just deciding they're going to rig it up however they want to rig it. And
Right.
Say,
Long
we're
as it's
good.
running. And this is the one that they just fixed because something was wrong with the belt.
It had been out for a while.
Shit. Okay.
Then remember to move on to your steering column.
Mm-hmm.
You know that it's not bent or broken, damaged. There's no missing pins. And so everything is securely mounted. Then into the steer box. Talk about the box. There's a fluid in there, so there's no leaks. The hoses going in, make sure you say that they're securely attached. You don't see anything wrong with the hoses. No leaks coming from them. Your pitman arm. Then you got your castle nuts and cotter pins and keys down there.
Nuts and cotter pins.
Yep. They're not technically something, but you still point them out.
They give you points.
Brownie points, sucking up to the inspector.
Okay.
Then you're talking about your drag link. This is your upper drag link, and that's not damaged. That everything's secured. You don't see any missing bolts. They've got more cotter pins and castle nuts. Then you got your upper steer arm, your lower steer arm, and then your lower drag arm.
Yeah, that thing going across.
Yeah, going across. Then you go into your suspension, start at the front and work your way back. So you have your front spring mounts and your rear spring mounts. Make sure that they're not damaged, they're securely mounted, no missing bolts or anything like that. Talk about your spring. Those are your springs right there. Make sure there's not damage, no scissoring, that they're aligned. Make sure you talk about your U-bolts, that they're not damaged or broken, they're securely mounted. You've got your shock absorber, that it's not broken, damaged, or anything. It deals with the fluids, so there's no leaks. Then you go into your braking system. You've got your air line running out to the canister. So you talk about it, you hear no leaks, that the hose is in good condition. You talk about your brake canister. You talk about the C-clamp going around the brake canister. There's wiring going in. You can talk about the wiring. I don't think it's on there, but it doesn't hurt to point it out.
Okay.
Bonus points, brownie points. You have your inner hub seal. Talk about it. It has a fluid. Make sure that it's not leaking, that all the lug nuts are on there. Your slack adjuster and your push rod, that it's securely mounted. All the pins and keys are in there and they're not missing. You know, you got your key and your pins, that they're not missing. Tell them that you would check it by pushing or pulling on it. You cannot have more than an inch of play. That's the critical part, is an inch of play. Then you move in to your brake shoes. The brake shoes can't be dangerously thin. They have to have at least 1/4 of an inch.
Okay.
There can also be no grease or oil in there, because grease and oil in there could cause a problem with them actually working properly. They wouldn't grip and give you that proper friction. So it has to be free of grease and oil. Talk about the brake drums. No damages to it. Also with the shoes, no cracking or glazing, which is an indication of heat damage. Talk about the brake drums. Same issues with no cracks or damages. And it can't have a blue or bluish color, because that indicates heat damage.
Okay.
Talk about the inner wheel, that it's securely mounted, it's not broken or damaged in any way, no illegal welds.
Securely mounted.
Yep, securely mounted.
Okay.
Everything needs to be securely mounted. Your inner and outer sidewalls are in good conditions, no rubs or abrasions, rips, cracks, or tears. Talk about your tread, that it's evenly worn, no cupping or bulges, that it has to be 430 seconds on the front, and make sure that you have no debris in these things, something that could puncture your tire like a nail or something. And then go on, talk about the air pressure. You check the air pressure by the valve stem and make sure the valve stem's not damaged in any way. You need to use a pressure gauge to check it, not a mallet.
You don't?
Don't talk about a mallet.
Oh, hell. Okay. So
That's a Colorado old man thing. Just say, because I asked that in Kokomo, they're like, and I'm like, I told myself I would use a gauge myself.
Okay, so gauge.
That's just more of a old hillbilly. It bounces off, which is still good, but
Okay.
check your what the rating is for your PSI on the tires. Then I mentioned to my instructor that our tires at work on those trucks say 100 to 120 PSI is the optimal range, and that the mechanics say they want them at 105 PSI. The reason why I want them at 105, because in hot weather and cold weather, your tire air pressure will expand and contract.
Okay.
So this way it's kind of in the middle, it gives it some room to play. So it doesn't inflate too much or deflate too much. So they want it at 105 PSI in the tires at work. That's what the mechanics say.
Okay.
Talk about the outer wheel, the lug nuts. Remember, no illegal welds on the wheels.
Okay.
And then your tires or your lug nuts, making sure you don't see rust pools or trails coming from them, shiny threads or damage around the hole that indicate that they're loose.
Okay.
Talk about the inner seal, the hubcap seal, that it's there is a fluid in there. You don't see any leaks, no cracks, securely mounted, the whole spiel. That way you've now completed the engine compartment. You don't have to close it, but we closed it back up just because you got to start it up. Might as well get it closed while we're out here.
Okay.
So then we close it back up. I won't latch it in case you can come back and keep walking through for yourself.
Okay.
Then make sure this one doesn't have one of those side marker lights, so you don't have to worry about it. But there's a light here on your mirror.
Oh, I didn't. Okay.
So
Wow.
tell them that it's not cracked or damaged. It's amber in color.
Okay.
It's clean, securely mounted. Talk about your mirrors, that they're not broken or damaged, cracked in any way. They're securely mounted. Talk about your door handle. It's not damaged, broken, or cracked. Securely mounted. The inner door handle, that same deal. Talk about your hinges, that they're not damaged or cracked, securely mounted. Tug on the door, make sure that it's not going to lift up and on. Talk about any handles if you see going in. You got one handle here. I just talk about these handles that you'd be grabbing, that they're not damaged or broken. You don't see missing bolts.
Rubber
Anything that
seal.
would come loose. Talk about your seal. Make sure that it's in good condition. If you find anything wrong with it, point it out.
Is that considered?
No, it's
Oh,
nothing
okay.
that's gonna. It's nothing that'll take it out.
Okay.
Point it out.
Okay.
Just point out anything you see wrong.
Okay.
Then you set your door back. You can talk about your steps. They're securely mounted, free of debris, because debris could cause you to slip or fall off. Talk about the fuel tank. No holes, no damages, securely mounted. You don't see any leaks coming from it. Talk about the gas cap. I actually unscrew it, show the chain, show the inner rubber seal, that everything's there and in good condition. Talk about the DEF tank, that it's there. Key with the DEF tank is, with Indiana DOT, you have to have a minimum of 1/8 of a tank of DEF fluid.
Okay.
So point that out, tell them, and also you have to have 1/8 of a tank. And if they tell you not to worry about it, move on.
Okay.
Then you go on to the frame of the vehicle. You're going to point out that there's no illegal welds. Everything is securely mounted to it. There's no damages or cracks or bulges, no missing bolts. Talk about the U-bolts, that they are in good condition. They're not cracked or broken, damaged. They're securely mounted. Talk about the drivetrain, that it's not twisted. Yeah, the drivetrain, drive shaft.
I was gonna say, wait a minute.
Yeah, well, it's part of the drivetrain.
Okay.
It's all part of the same system. But the drive shaft, that it's not bent or broken, cracked, twisted. It's securely mounted. The thing that is unique to the passenger side is the exhaust. The exhaust cannot be damaged, can't have any holes, no leaks. Signs of leaks would be black soot anywhere but the tailpipe. So it's not leaking, that's how you would tell if it's leaking. Then you're going to talk about, and honestly, I don't know if this has a torsion bar, because I don't know what the torsion bar is. But that was something I was told I missed on the first one. So you know what? Just say torsion bar.
Okay.
You know, and even if you don't say the torsion bar, as long as you're hitting it, you're allowed so many. I can't remember what you're allowed to miss, how many you're supposed to miss. Say the torsion bar, I guess. I don't know. Have Stevie see if he knows what the torsion bar is.
Okay.
But that was what I missed on that truck up at Coker.
Okay.
Then the springs are the same way as the front. The spring mounts in the front and the rear, making sure that they're securely mounted. You see no missing bolts or anything like that. Talk about the springs themselves, same deal, no twisting, that they're in the line. Talk about the shock absorber. Talk about the U-bolts, because there are 2 U-bolts in the middle of it, that they're there. When you go onto your brakes, this one have 2. Yeah, there's 2 airlines in your brakes.
You said there's 2?
Yeah,
Oh,
there are
one,
2. You see. Talk about them and the condition they're in. I'm going to get out from under this. Talk about those. They're, you know, they're rubbers to make sure there's no cracks or bulges in it. You don't hear any leaks coming from it. Talk about the canisters, the C-clamps. Make sure that that's on there.
C-clamps. Okay.
Yeah, that's the ring around the canister that mounts it to the vehicle. Then you go into the brake shoes. Same deal as the front. Brakes are the same as the front. The only difference between the front brakes and the rear brakes are 2 airlines.
Okay.
In the rear. That's it.
Okay.
So it's the same process. So with the wheels, the only thing that's different in the back is you still have the inner seal. Talk about it just like up there. You've got the inner seal, or the inner hub seal. You know, no missing lug nuts or bolts or anything like that. As a fluid, no leaks. So talk about the tires. The only difference between the tires tread in the rear is you have to have a minimum of 2/32 in the rear. But everything else is the same. You've got to talk about the inner wheels. There can't be any gap between the spacers. Make sure that the spacers aren't damaged. The other thing too, just like with the frame and the front wheels, no illegal welds.
Okay.
Then back out to the lug nuts and the outer hub seal and axle. No leaks coming from it. The lug nuts are there. You would check the air pressure, the tire pressure with a gauge. And that's it on the wheels. Same thing with the hubcaps.
It doesn't. I noticed it doesn't have the. What's the one thing
Yeah, it doesn't have that hubcap seal.
Okay.
But this is the outer hub and outer
But I
hub
still
axle.
have to bring that up?
Yes.
Okay.
The outer hub and axle seal is there.
Okay.
And that's what he said the back was, the outer hub and axle.
Okay.
Those seals are there. Go off that checklist I gave you. Just
Okay.
kind of go over it. And remember, I need to point these things out.
Okay.
And it has a fluid. Make sure that there's no leaks. 230 seconds on the rear.
Okay.
Talk about the condition of the tires, even tread depth, no cupping, sidewalls, inner and outer. Same thing for both tires.
Okay.
So all that's the same. You've got your shock absorbers on the shocks. Like I said, the shocks are the same in the front as the back. You got front and rear mounts. This one doesn't have airbags on it.
Okay.
So you don't even need to mention that.
Okay.
The mud flaps, go over the mud flaps. You know, there's a tear in it. It's not a big deal, but point it out. Make sure they see it. Make sure it's securely mounted. That wouldn't cause anything. Some states don't even require mud flaps. It's different from state to state.
Okay.
Um,
Did they make you bring up the lift gate?
I didn't have a lift gate.
Oh yeah, and I asked him. I was like, "Yes, you did, Ben. You had to." No, I forgot he drove that.
Yeah.
So,
Talk about your reflective
Okay.
tape. That it's in good condition. If you see any dings or damages in it, which is like near perfect condition.
Okay.
Talk about your these are outer marker reflectors.
okay.
That they're amber in color and they're not damaged. Then we're going to go back, pointing out your red reflector, because all reflectors, lights, clearance lights, all that in the rear have to be red.
Okay.
This one you will have
So
to
I
talk.
can't say amber in the front, rear, red in the rear.
You know, you can say it, but you still, when you get back there, make
Okay.
sure you point out, because all of them have to be red.
Okay.
In the rear, it has to be red.
Okay.
You have to have 50% coverage of reflective tape
In the back, 50. Okay.
50% coverage in the state of Indiana. Your reflectors, you're going to go over your clearance lights. You got a clearance light up there. You've got marker lights up to your clearance light up there. Remember those.
Okay.
So you've got the one there in the middle that's amber in color. You've got the rear one that's red, because
Okay.
it's in the rear, it has to be red in color. They're not cracked or broken, anything like that.
Okay.
Once you've got all of your side stuff, you're on to the back. You're going to talk about your clearance lights on top. You got your marker lights, clearance marker lights. You've got brake lights, tail lights, turn signals, four-way flashers. They all have to be red. They can't be cracked or broken. And your reflectors have to be red in the back. They can't be cracked or broken. And 50% coverage of tape, reflective tape, in the rear.
Okay.
You have to talk about the lift gate. Go over the lift gate. That guy's video, watch his video about the lift gate. Let him talk about the lift gate, the doors, because I didn't have any of that. I had a flat.
Okay.
But the gate, the rollers, everything on the door, go
Securely
over all
mounted.
of it. The door seals,
Okay.
mention all of that.
Okay.
When you get done with that, he's going to have you do the light test. So you're going to get in the vehicle. He's going to have you turn the vehicle on. You can turn it on or just turn the vehicle into the on position, but not actually start it over. At Kokomo, he said it was my choice.
To start.
I
with
just
the
turned it on because the week before the guy was like, the battery kind of sucks on this, so just start it up.
Okay.
So, and your instructors may say the same thing. Hey, the battery on this one sucks. This is our vehicle you're taking, so you're good.
So when you got in, you started it, and then you did the in cab, or
Yes.
the lights.
Well, you did the lights.
Then the in cab.
So then you're going to turn the lights on. I'm not going to start
I
it
need
up
to
until
see where the
put
lights and shit are in here too.
So your lights, this one,
Okay.
like that.
Okay.
And so he would get out and he would come out and he'd start in the front. And you're going to tell him headlights, and he's going to give you a thumbs up, or however he's going to say that he's going to indicate to you that they are working.
Okay.
You're going to say clearance lights, he's going to say give you the thumbs up. Marker lights, thumbs up. I'd say, hey, the lights on my mirrors, the marker lights on my mirrors.
Okay.
Let him give you the thumbs up.
Okay.
Headlights, thumbs up. Turn signals. You're going to turn your left turn signal on. He'll give you a thumbs up. You're going to say right signal. He's going to give you a thumbs up or repeat it back to you. You're going to turn your four-way flashers on. He's going to say good, or four-way flashers, repeat it to you.
Okay.
When you're done with the front, then you're going to go to the rear.
Or the side. What about the side?
No.
Did he do? Oh, you
didn't
didn't?
do the side.
Oh, okay.
And you could honestly call that clearance lights,
Okay.
and it all be counted.
Securely mounted. Okay.
But this is just a light test.
Okay.
So then he's going to go to the rear, and you're going to say clearance lights. He'll say clearance, or he'll give you a thumbs up. You're going to say tail lights, and he's going to give you a thumbs up or say tail lights.
Wow.
You're going to say brake lights. That's the one, the difference on the back. Brake lights. So make sure you hit your brakes, and you'll say, yeah, they're working. You're going to say left turn signal, right turn signal, four-way flashers. Boom, you're done.
Okay.
Then he's going to come in, and you're going to do your in-cab inspection.
Okay.
So then that's when you go through your whole in-cab inspection. I start before I did my safe start. I did my seat belt. It's securely mounted, no rips, no frays, tears. It latches and unlatches, so I can get in and out. So if it didn't unlatch, I'd have to cut myself out.
Okay.
So I don't have to worry about that. I go over the fire extinguisher, that it's securely mounted, it's fully charged and in the green, and it is an ABC fire extinguisher. So that's to cover all 3 different forms.
Okay.
Talk about your fuses. Talk about your red reflective triangles, and you make sure you say red. Reflective triangles, you need 3. Make sure you tell them you have to have 3. And they can't be cracked or damaged or broken in any way. And fuses and fire extinguishers need to be securely mounted so they don't slide out under your feet.
Okay.
Then you're going to talk about city horn, hit the city horn. You're going to talk about the air horn, hit the air horn.
Where is it? It's
If you've got one. Yeah.
we need to get familiar with the truck.
It's so short, I can't even get in. This one might not have one.
An air horn?
You'll have to talk to Stevie, because
Where?
oh wait,
Oh, okay. That's the air horn. So
That's
hit
the air
that,
horn.
then the.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you hit the city horn, air horn.
Okay.
Good to go. Then you'll do your safe start. So you'll start the vehicle up. You're going to do your instrumentation check. So you're going to check your defrost. You're going to check your. You want to sit here?
Yeah.
All right. Here. Make sure whenever you get in and out, 3 points of contact always facing into the vehicle while you're getting in and around.
Okay.
So go ahead and get in.
Jesus.
All right. So let's just go ahead and start her up. Make sure it's in neutral. It is. And your brakes engaged.
See, I didn't even know this.
Yeah.
I'm so used to the. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So
All right. So now turn your defroster on all the way up. We come over to the other side.
okay. Is it unlocked? Jesus! Ow!
Okay.
Can you see?
So,
Okay.
oh, we're good.
Okay.
So you're gonna do your defrost, which you should feel,
Right
yeah,
here.
and it's blowing up there.
Okay.
Then you're gonna switch to the floor, and then you're gonna check it, make sure it's working.
Right.
You're gonna check your windshield wipers. So turn your windshield wipers on, and they're not damaged or broken. The blades are in good condition.
Should we
Check the fluid. That's checking your lights, I think. Check your fluid. Probably got to push in, see what it said. There you go.
Okay.
And you've got fluid, so that's working. Now you're going to check your instrumentation panel.
Okay.
And by that, you're going to go by your water temperature. And that's oil pressure. Is at an operating range. Next one's water temperature. Is at an operating range. The next one is DEF. And you have to have at least 1/8 of a tank of DEF fluid,
Okay.
and you're at operational range.
Okay.
You're going to talk about your voltage meter.
Where's that?
It's not showing. You're going to have to ask Stevie how to get to the voltage meter.
Okay.
But it needs to be between 12 and 14, which is operational range for your voltage meter. You're going to talk about mirrors. Mirrors are clean, they're not cracked or broken or damaged, they're securely mounted, no illegal stickers. You're going to talk about the windshield.
Not correct. Ain't broken, cracked. What is this? Wait a minute.
That, no, that's just your hours. I'm not sure.
Oh.
That's a battery down. It doesn't look like it even works.
Oh, okay. Okay.
But this is what you really have to worry about. You're also going to talk about your ABS light. That, I forgot to tell you, that should be the first thing you mention when you turn it on. The ABS light was on, indicating that the light works. It turned off, indicating that the ABS system works.
Okay.
then go through the rest of your instrumentation. Then you talk about your mirrors, you talk about your windows, no illegal stickers, they're clean. And then that is it for the rest of that. Then you're going to test, which we're not going to do because you're still locked up in the dock plate, and it looks like you got people getting ready to go in. But you would tell them, okay, first I'm going to test the parking brake, and you put it into gear and try to tug at it to make sure it's holding, and it holds, and you put it back into neutral. Then you say, I'm going to test the service brake. I don't know if they're going to make, you need to talk to Ben and see if they actually made him do the service brake test or just explain it. I don't know. But to test the service brake, you would release the parking brake, put it into gear, pull forward at 5 miles an hour, hit the service brake, and make sure that the steering wheel doesn't pull to the left or to the right. That would indicate that you have uneven wear on your brake pads. Then you would put it back into neutral, reapply the parking brake, and at this point you're getting ready to start your ABS check. So at that point, he's going to give you the spiel. You're going to begin your ABS check. They have to be done in order. You need to start at 90 PSI. So if you're above 90 PSI, he'll have you fan down to get below 90 PSI. And so you got to start. And so once it hits 90 PSI, he's going to tell you to begin. So you're going to say, well, I'm going to build pressure to find the governor cutoff at 120 to 140 PSI. So you're going to start giving it gas. Are you below? Where's your air at? So you're above, so bleed off. So bleed off to 90. So yeah, start fanning the brakes. Okay. So now you're at 90. So now I need to reach the governor cutout. So you're going to, oh, they're calling for Stevie. So start giving it some gas.
Gas?
Yeah. So hold it down. You want to build air pressure to the governor cutout of 120 to 140. There's the governor cutout. Okay, then you're going to turn the vehicle off. You're going to turn the vehicle to the on position. We're not going to actually do this part, but turn it to the on position so all the gauges work. Then you would release the parking brake, which actually we're chalked, aren't we?
Yeah.
So yeah, so you can release the parking brake.
Isn't it already released?
No, it's not.
Oh, so pull it out?
Push it in. Push it in. That's how you release, yeah. So, no. Push it in, you're chalked, so you're good. You might not even move forward so you can reach the pedals. So now you've released that. Oh, fine, we're at the chalk. So then he's going to tell you, then you're going to tell them, I'm going to fan down. I'm now going to fan the air pressure down to hit my low pressure warning sensor before I reach 55 miles an hour. You might want to scoot your seat up so you can comfortably reach the brake pedals. There you go. Now start fanning down to your
brake?
What's that?
Fanning
yeah,
down.
fanning the brake down.
Okay.
And this should go off before 55 PSI. There you go. It's going off. So they said, now the next part is I'm going to test to make sure that the emergency brakes work. I'm going to do that by fanning the brake pedal off and get the spring brake should kick in and my handle will pop out before between 20 and 45 PSI. Start fanning them down. Oop, there they go. At this point, you passed. So, and you can start back up, build up your air pressure again. At this point now, you have passed the air brake test. He's going to get you ready for the driving test.
Okay.
So while he's going to give you some instructions, you're going to be talking in the cab for a minute while you're building pressure. So the first thing you would do is pull forward, and I'm not going to do it with you at the moment right now. I'll let you do this on your own. But you could basically pull forward to those orange cones, and then you would need to back up to the lane next to you, to your left.
Okay.
And actually it'd be easier to start over there, but however you want to do it, wherever you want to start, no big deal. But you would pull forward, and then you would back up. Actually, you pull forward, and then you do a straight line back.
Okay.
and you back straight up. So you have a designation to pull up to, then you have to back up till the front of your vehicle passes those cones on your straight line. You pass that, boom, and you get one pull forward attempt. So you get, say you didn't do it right, you can pull forward again and do it again.
Okay.
You get one of those. You can get out of your vehicle and check the rear one time on that.
Okay.
Once you pass that, you go on to your one where you'd have to pull forward and then back up into the lane next to you.
Okay.
And you would pull forward, then you start backing up till the front of your vehicle passes these cones. Once you feel you're there, and every time you feel like you're at the spot you're supposed to be, put it in neutral, apply your parking brake, which means you pull it out.
Okay.
So in between everything, every time you stop for instructions, put it in neutral, pull your brake.
Okay.
Every time.
Okay.
Every time you feel like you've completed that part of the test, put it in neutral, pull your brake, honk your horn, let them know you're good. Or however they instruct you to do it.
Okay.
So you're going to do your straight line, so you pull forward, then back up to where you got to be, honk your horn, let them know you're good. And you're going to pull forward and back up to the lane next to you to that point where they tell you to stop, neutral, parking brake, honk your horn. Then it's on to the parallel parking. Whether you parallel park on the driver's side or your passenger side, it's completely random. It's chosen when they print out your form. The system just does it at random. So practice parallel parking to the right and to the left, so you know how to do it. And then follow their instructions. Once you've done that, boom, and you pass it. On the first one, you only get one re-pull up and back up. The second one, you get 2 attempts. And the third one, I think you're given 2, maybe 3, I don't remember. But they'll tell you how many attempts you get. Yeah. Then once you've completed that, he'll tell you to stop. He'll come get back into the vehicle with you. You've passed this. Now it's time for the over the road test. And then he's going to give you instructions. If you hit a curb, you fail.
Right.
Pay attention to the street signs, because you're going to pass the street sign and say, what did that sign say? Don't be, you can chat, but be paying attention to what you're doing.
Okay.
If Matt said something about them going, oh, look at that Mustang, that never happened.
Okay.
At least not with me.
Right.
But if they do something, don't just ignore it.
Okay.
Pay attention to what you're doing. Pay attention to road signs. Don't follow too close. Don't brake too hard. Don't stop in the middle of the intersection. If you're pulling up and waiting for your turning left, and you can come out into the intersection and get yourself ready to turn, but don't come to a stop in the middle of the intersection.
Okay.
Like I said, don't hit curbs, don't hit vehicles, don't get a moving violation. Driving part's easy. You're a good driver, you're not going to have a problem with it. Follow their instructions, pay attention, look at the road signs, because you've got to make so many lane changes, so many right-hand turns, so many left-hand turns. At some point in time, you're going to have to make a safe stop on the side of the road. So you turn your right, you're going to tell you when it's safe, pull to the shoulder of the road, stop, engage your 4-way flashers, and like we were going to get out of the vehicle and check something in the back. So wherever, and I did it on ramp, exit ramp, and you're going to have to get out on the highway, all that fun stuff. So just follow their instructions.
During the driving test?
Yep. Now you don't actually get out of the vehicle, but they want you to make the safe stop. So you're going to turn your turn signal on, and then once you've come to a complete stop, turn your 4-way flashers.
Right.
And he'll go over a little spiel. Then he's going to tell you when it's safe to enter the road, continue on. And whenever you do anything, make sure you do turn signals at all times.
4 ways.
4 ways, right here, on top.
Okay. The lights are over here.
Yep. So yeah, get familiar with this cab and where everything's at.
Okay.
So, all right, well, I'm going to get back in there. If you got any more questions, holler at me.
All right. Thank you.
Stay out here, work at it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I don't need to push anything back into it.
But if you're ready to do any of the driving stuff, realize that you're still hooked to the dock plate, the door's open, and you're chalked. So you got to change all that.
We're driving tomorrow. I need to figure out where that vault thing is, though.
You're going to get with Stevie.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. The one at Kokomo, I had to push a button 5 times to get to it.
Oh, my God.
So
Okay.
every vehicle's a little different.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
You'll have to rehook all the latches.
Okay. Wait, where are your high beams? Lift gate. Ox. All right.